I wonder, have you ever thought about the concept of what you sow is what you reap, and what you reap is what you sow? When you take a good hard look at things around you and things that are going around you and all the circumstances that keep on happening to you, are good things coming to you because you sowed in some good things? Or are a whole lot of challenging things coming to you, but you're not really quite sure? Like, why? What is that? My name is Mark Anthony DeBose Jr., and I was born July 4th of 1986. And today, I've been doing a lot of thinking. I've been doing a lot of thinking on the concept of sowing and reaping, and trying to get a better understanding of why some things over here look so good, but some things over there just don't look good at all. They look a little iffy, look a little weird, look a little hazy, look a little messed up. Where I wonder how many of y'all really just take a good hard look at your life and start to think, like, if challenges just keep coming to you, is this something that you're doing? Or is it something that's just, say, outside forces that are coming in and it's unfortunate, but is it something that you're doing that's making these challenges come to you? I wonder, do many of y'all really think about that? Thinking that everything is just the devil and the opposition and something wrong and something this, or is it something that you're doing? Because today I've been doing a little bit of reading in my Bible, with the book of Galatians in the 6th chapter. Starting at the first verse, it really does start to step into making sure that's why for me I changed up some things on making sure that you come in gently, you come in smooth, you come in easy, you bring an ease of access to people. You don't just hit them hard with this Bible verse, this Bible verse, this Bible verse, and they're just gonna get discouraged and they're just gonna run away, and you're not gonna be sowing the correct seeds. But later on, going down to the 7th verse, really starts to get to me about the concept of sowing and reaping, and what it is that I'm doing. I don't know what you're doing, but I just feel like I know what I'm doing. That when I really look around at things that are going on in my life, I really start to question a lot of am I putting in something here to make that happen? Good and bad. Not everything is. I feel like some people get stuck in the whole concept and the whole mindset of always only seeing negativity, of only seeing like bad things and struggling things and evil things. And it's like, I don't really see my life that way. There was definitely a time in the day that I did, but that's where I'm going to say to you, if you want to get away from that, definitely start praying more, start asking more, and start getting some forgiveness for things that you've done, and putting out forgiveness to others for things that they've done to you. That's number one way in reality that you're going to really start to get away from a lot of your negativity, is start to forgive people for what it is that they've done and has gone on around you. But for me, I really got to thinking a lot about the sowing and reaping, about why, say, some good things happen and come to me, and some good things just continue to just keep growing and escalating and getting to the point of making it like, ooh, that chicken about to get hit by that hot wire. Good things that come to me that just that really just ease of access, where I just feel like I'm in the right place at the right time. I'm around the right people at the right moment. I say the right word at the right time. That something just it's like things just get lined up with that. And for me, I do a lot of reading. I do a lot of studying. I do a lot of praying on trying to figure out what it is that I do to be able to get what it is that I have. And a lot of times I've come to realize one of the major starts, one of the major pushes, one of the major first things that I started doing was making sure that I went ahead and started to take away information that was coming to me that was just so destructive, that was just so damaging, that was just so cruel, so evil. Like all this stuff on the mobile phone, on a telephone, that just would come to you. That's just like, you're like, I don't feel good when I hear this. I don't feel right when I keep getting this information. So for me, I started exiting a lot of that out, and I realized, what's weird? I realized like that information out there has nothing to do with what it is that I do here. That when I don't pay attention to it, it's not like it affects me here. It does nothing to me. It changes nothing of my life. Especially the further and further I keep getting into doing what it is that I'm doing here, the more and more I keep pushing into creating more and more, creating more eggs, creating more chicken, creating more beef, creating more veggies. I noticed that majority of all that stuff that's out there that's just always constantly hitting us and bashing us and banging at us, just it doesn't affect me. It doesn't give me any sort of weird, any sort of I'm scared. Hey guys, here. It doesn't give me any sort of like, just doesn't tip me. And I realized when I just stopped listening to it, when I stopped listening to all the the drama that's going on, food shortages or the food price spikes or the railroad this or the Twitter that or all that stuff that's going on out there, I realize like none of that actually affects me at all. And I just let it go. And I realize like it's a pretty interesting situation. But I feel like when you're sowing into all of that information, that you're only going to keep getting more and more of it back to you. And that's something that I don't think that a lot of people really pay attention to or really realize, that the more that you put your energy into something that's so destructive, something that's so negative, something that's so just trying to scare you, something that's trying to keep you in a frightened state, keep you in an anxious state all the time, the more that you're going to be that, and the more it's just going to amplify from that. And then the more everyone around you is going to continuously be that exact same way, that you're only going to keep projecting that because that's all that you're looking for. And unfortunately, that's just the way our internet, YouTube, Twitter, TikTok, Instagram, all that stuff works today. It just works to the fact of whatever it is that you watch a little bit of, it just magnifies it to make you watch more and more of it. So then it actually starts to take away some things that you used to be about, you used to care about. It starts to like make that disappear, and then you only start to see all this stuff. And then you get to the point that you get a little frustrated, and then you try to find something different, but it says, no, we're going right back there. Because in reality, what sells? Anxious, frightened, terrifying, scary stuff. All that stuff does. All that stuff that's, you better do this now or this is going to happen to you. All that stuff is just like, it really gets into our emotions, and it really does sell. It sells really, really good. And that's something that I think and I feel like a lot of us really need to just start letting that go. We need to start getting out of that. We need to start just not even paying attention at all to it and start to just move on with doing something that actually does matter. And that's, for me, something very interesting that I realize with the differences of what I want to do and what I want to talk about, such as this chicken coop here. It's the first one I've ever built. I don't know if you call this chicken coop. I just built this off of who knows what. I was just thinking of something that would be cool, that would be able to house my first batch of chickens that I got, my first meat birds. Those first meat birds are the first Cornish crosses I got. And I'll never raise that breed of chicken again, ever, personally, because they're disgusting. But this is the first one I've ever built out here. I notice more and more that I start talking about stuff like my chicken and my cows and my animals and wanting to take care of this and learning how to take care of this. I notice that more and more change of stuff comes to me that makes me want to watch other people that are growing different things. And especially for me, it's just weird because that's what I want to get into next, is growing more things, of like more veggies and getting some fruit trees and trying some experiments with some aquaponics and some fruit trees to try to see if I can grow them out better and faster and start to get dwarf ones so that I can, it's just different things that I want to try out. But I noticed that more and more that starts to come to me now, the more and more that I want to change my shift on talking about what it is I want to talk about, such as talking about how everyone on your chicken coop, you should have a water barrel with it. Hook up a water barrel, get you a 35 or 55 gallon drum, fill it up with some water, get a tap on it, and get a self-float, watering pan thing in there so that you don't have to worry about keeping up with the water all the time. You got 35 gallons on standby at all times for you. So you don't have to fill it up every week, every 2 weeks. You fill it up every couple of months, that you're good to go. And then when you're walking by doing your rounds, throwing feed and doing what you're doing, you can just take a look at it and just say, you can see where it's at. You can verify where it's at. Right now, it's easy for me to verify to see that it's over 2/3 still right now. Actually, it's over 3/4 right now. It's got a good amount of water in there. And I could just see that real fast, and that makes life so much easier. And it's just certain things that I've noticed that the more and more I start to pay attention to the things that I feel like, say, matter, like doing things to make sure that we're able to still keep eating, doing things to make sure that we're still surviving. The things that really truly matter, not worrying about who's going to fight with this and who's in the war with that and who's battling this and who's trying to dominate this and who's trying to destroy this and who's trying to have a better photo for this and who's in the beach and new photo shoot wearing this new thing of this and paying attention to stuff that just does not matter. It doesn't matter to your day-to-day survival basic instincts of being able to live on this planet. Those are just outside added stuff that's just trying to distract you from doing what it is that you need to do. Because I'm telling you, the more that you spend more and more time with taking care of what it is that you need to take care of, such as creating your own food and figuring out your own water source, that you're only going to start to realize that the more that you sow into that, the more that it's just going to start growing and amplifying and being to the point that it's only going to just excite you even more. It's only going to bring to you, Oreo, it's only going to bring to you even more that you're going to have no choice but to get more excited about what truly does matter. And I'm going to say, this out here, working with this, trying to build something like this, oh, let's get down. Trying to build something like this is something that, Oreo down, is going to bring you more peace and more joy, more freedom in your life. Because this isn't something that you just build it once and it's done. You'll never be able to use it. No, it's something I could use for 10 plus years, Oreo down. I could just keep on using over and over, over and over and over and over. And it's something that's going to be able to bring to you more inspiration on how to be able to take care of yourself even more in the future to come. Instead of just looking at something that is just only going to keep bringing you destruction. I want you to start looking at stuff that's going to start to bring you more freedom in your life, more enjoyment in your life, and getting you out of frustration, getting you out of all the hate, getting you out of all the jealousy, getting you out of all of that. Because when you really take a good hard look at what really does matter, for me, I get a little sad sometimes when I think about certain things that I just know I want to do, but all I could do is just project and think of the future, thinking of what I want to do. But some certain things that really does matter is making sure that you're creating a good meal to be able to have a good meal with your family, to be able to eat. Like, I feel like a lot of us really don't put a lot of time, a lot of effort, and a lot of energy at all into making sure that we do that. That one vital, fundamental thing that we need as a human being species to be able to survive. We don't even take time to make sure that we have proper ingredients, that we're having the proper preparations, that we're doing everything properly when we're cooking it together, and then we're sitting down and eating and enjoying it and talking about how you made this and you made that and you did this and just the whole concept of what it is that we need and require to be able to survive on this planet, as opposed to sitting around just talking about madness that's going on out there that has nothing to do with what it is that's going on inside of your family unit, inside of your own personal life. That stuff out there, if you stop listening to it, you stop watching it, you stop paying attention to it, you'd realize that it doesn't affect you at all. You realize, like, it doesn't matter what president is in our seat, that it's not going to change your day-to-day living life. It just doesn't. It hasn't for me in the past 36 years of living, and it's not going to for you, because there's nothing that anyone's going to do that's going to be so drastic and so different and so this that all of a sudden now you have a whole new thing to do every single day. That's just not what happens. They all come, they all do the same stuff, and they all get selected to do the same stuff. And then all of the people around us all do all the same stuff. Nothing's changing. Nothing's doing any sort of change. And until we decide to stop putting all our energy into that, all our focus into that, and we start to focus on what really matters is us, ourselves, and our families, and our peoples around us, and our communities, then we're going to start to see change. Then we're going to start to see something different. But as long as we stay in that, you're just getting a feedback loop over and over and over. You're never going to get out of it. You're just staying in it, staying in it, staying in it. It's the same stuff's going to come to your Twitter feed. Same stuff's going to come to your Instagram feed. Same stuff's going to come to your TikTok feed. Same stuff's going to keep coming to your YouTube feed. Same stuff's going to just keep on coming over and over and over and over again. And you're never going to get a chance to get out and branch out and see something different, to do something different. You're not going to do that differentness if you just keep staying in it. So you just got to shut it out. You just got to shut it down. You just got to ignore it. You got to block it. You got to push it away. And you got to start focusing on some new things that really do matter. Like, what am I eating tonight? Where am I getting that food from tonight? Where was that food made and created from that I'm going to buy that food knowing that I'm going to consume this food? It's going to go inside of my body. My body. My body. The number one thing that we should be paying more and more and the most concentration and dedication on is your body. That you'll go and get something that you don't know what it was, how it was made, anything about it, and just consume and eat it and put it inside of your body. That's just, I don't know, to me, the more and more that I keep doing what it is that I do out here, that just scares me sometimes, going to certain places and just eating what it is that they're giving me, not knowing, having no idea of knowing what's going on with it, having no idea. At least in my kitchen's not the most premium of premium, the best of the best, but I do know when it's clean, how it's clean. I do know how it's prepared, how it's cooked. I do know a whole lot about what's going on with what it is that I'm consuming, as opposed to you don't know what's going on in them restaurants. You don't know if they clean it once a week, once a month, once a year even, if they ever even have in the past 10 years. You don't even know what's going on back there. They're just cooking on. And in reality, that's the first step and the first time why I started going to a vegan diet, because I got sick. I got sick eating at this one restaurant that just made me sick. And I was like, man, if I was 65, 70 years old, I would have died. How sick I got, not knowing what it was. And I'm, relying and concentrating on other people, trying to make sure that I'm good to go, instead of me worrying about myself if I am good to go. That I'm just consuming some things that just have no idea. And that consuming some things, I'm going to say the same as eating. It's the same as watching, studying, and seeing some things that you're a part of, that you're looking at, that you're paying real close attention to, bringing into your mind. That you're consuming some things that are very, very destructive, that are setting you down a very, very downward spiral, that are giving you a very, very skewed representation of what the world is actually truly about. that it's getting you a very, very manipulated sense of what, say, the normal is. Where I'm going to say that there is a, say, new normal of, say, relationships and how people act and people respond and people are with each other today than there ever has been before in history. And any time that we've ever studied or had any sort of understanding of what it is, that there is a difference today. And I'll say this right here up front: a lot of guys, y'all need to be careful. Y'all need to be careful out there doing what y'all doing and talking to who you talking to and hanging out with who you hanging out with. You need to be very, very careful out there, because there's some very, very big differences going on out here that are iffy. But we need to be very, very careful of things that we're constantly consuming, the things that we're constantly bringing into ourselves, because they're only going to damage you if you're looking for damaging. And you may not even be looking for it, but it's for some reason something that we're just like almost like hardwired to get into. Like even food, we're hardwired to eat something quick, fast, and cheap. We're hardwired to do that because it gives us, say, more time to do other nonsensical, meaningless things. That it gives us more time to just do that instead of just worrying about the number one thing that we need to be worrying about on this planet. And that's making sure that we have a solid, secure food source and a solid, secured water source and a solid way of being able to make sure that we can replicate that over and over again if anything were to happen to that. And be able to replicate that no matter where we go. No matter if it's cold, no matter if it's hot, no matter if it's raining, no matter if it's snowing, no matter if it's what. That we know how to replicate that system everywhere that we go. And I feel like that's something that we as a people are getting further and further away from. That we really need to start upgrading our lives. That's what's weird, because today someone would say that what I do out here building something like this is downgrading my life. It's like, no, Mark, you're going the opposite direction, buddy. You're going downhill. You're going further and further away from advancing where we are in technology and everything is headed towards. And I'm going to say we're not advancing technologically at all today. 50 years ago, yeah. 50 years ago compared to today, okay. But 20 years ago compared to today, we're still the same stuff. I still have the same iPhone as the first iPhone. I bought the first iPhone. We still drive the same vehicles as 100 years ago. We're not doing anything different. We're not doing anything fancy. We're not doing anything that's just magical. We're not upgrading anywhere that's just awesome of the awesome. You know what is upgrading? Our dogs. Our dogs are upgrading to just an absolute high level of awesomeness, where we're not doing that as a human being, our people. Our dogs are out sniffing cancer and saving people from seizures and saving people from diabetic issues and doing things like this, that we as a human being can't do any of that. And we can't even we can't even create a scientific tool to even be able to compete with how intelligent an animal is starting to get. Our animals are getting better, but us as a human being are seeming to like plateau, that we're not advancing anymore. We're still just doing the same stuff over and over again. We're building the exact same rockets over and over again. We're building all the same vehicles over and over again. We're building the same phones, the same iPads, the same, the network for the telephone service, all the same stuff. We're not upgrading or advancing or doing anything different. We're doing all the same things. And it's something that I feel like we as a people must take a look at that and must have a good understanding that clearly we've hit a point that we're getting away from doing what it is that we need to be doing. And that's like building something like this, is being creative enough to be able to make a decision to put something together from nothing, from an idea, and getting it out there and putting it out there. And then getting an idea of how to be able to create something for you to be able to eat, so that you don't have to worry about going over there, worrying and wondering what it is and how it is and what's about it and how it's taken care of and how it was processed and how anything about it. That we have one thing in our control, everybody, and that's our body. And some people look at me and they just say, Mark, you're skinny. And I say, no, I'm not. I'm what I'm supposed to look like. I am what a human being is supposed to look like. And it really does frustrate me when people say that to me, that I'm skinny, because it would be inappropriate for me to call you fat, but it's not inappropriate for you to call me skinny. And I say, I look the way I look because I make it a very, very high priority in my life to make sure that I have ease of access to be able to move and do and act and be as a human being, and not have to feel slowed down, not have to get tired from walking for 14 miles, not have to get tired from walking for 14 miles just for standing up and walking around in your living room. Like I want to make that a major priority to me, of knowing that this is the only thing that's inside of my control. And if it's in my control, I'm going to do everything in my power to make sure that it's good to go. And I'm telling you, people, I'm telling you this right here, right now, the more and more that you have your own food, that you're eating your own food, it's like, not saying possible, but it's hard to gain weight. It really is. It's super, super hard. So when you have your own, when you can eat a steak a day, eat a potato a day, and when you're growing it and raising it and take care of it and eating it, it's very, very hard for you to just be really, really big. When you decide to go out and eat the other people's food and everyone else's stuff and everything else out there, it's really, really easy for you to just start to just gain and gain and gain. And that's something that I want more and more people to challenge that and to test that and to confirm that same thing that I'm starting to notice with my own self, with what it is that I do. That the more and more that I have my own stuff that I'm taking care of, the less that I have to worry, the less I have to care about what my portions are, how many calories I have, how many this and how many that, and how many times a day to eat, and any of that. Because our bodies are amazing. They're so amazing, and God made them so amazing that they know what it needs, and it wastes out the rest that it doesn't need. But when you're eating this artificial stuff, it doesn't know what to do with that because it's artificial. It's tricking it. It's playing games on your body where it's like, do I need that? Okay, let me hold on to that. Whereas if you eat a real fresh steak that's not overly grain fed, that's just a real natural steak. When you're eating a real natural chicken that's not overly grain fed, that has a assortment of food to eat. It's eating insects, it's eating sunflowers and corn and everything. It's eating the whole range. It's eating all of it. It's not just eating one simple burnt up mashed meal. You're gonna notice that it's just better. Like even my dogs, when they eat a fresh diet, when they're eating, like right now, they're already getting close on to going back to eating a straight raw diet again, they perform way better. They have more spunk to them. They have more energy to them. They have more excitement to them. They just have more of everything that you would ever possibly want as a human. They have more of. As opposed to when you give them that burnt food all the time, they're hurting, they're struggling. You can see them. After they eat, they had that same, like, I just gotta nap, I gotta sleep, I gotta hang out, look and feel to them. And that's something that we really need to start getting away from. And the only way to get started with getting away from that is by doing your own thing and having your own. And if not having your own, at least putting some into someone who is doing something like that, instead of just feeling like you got to control it all. Because like for me, I like chicken. I don't know what it is with me. I grew up eating chicken, and ever since I had my first one that I had out here, the Cornish crosses, they tasted the same as everything else I ate. When I moved to this different chicken that I do now, these what are the Rangers? It's a completely different taste. It's a completely different texture. It's a completely different everything. It was a completely different chicken that I've ever had in my entire life. I just had one last night, and it's just completely different. It's not the same as anything else out there. So once I had that, I was just like, I like this. I could keep doing this. For me, it's this. I like doing more and more and more and more and more. So my garden is going to be a small garden just for me, just a small little one. And for my enchiladas as well, I can start mixing all that into there. That I need that, but I just like doing some chicken. And that's something that I feel like a lot of us really need to start just honing in and finding in what it is that we like doing, and start just doing it. Start making it happen. Start sowing into that and start watching what comes from that. Start paying attention to that and start seeing how your life is just going to start becoming better and better. That certain things, certain problems, certain issues that you've had growing up and going on, that you're going to notice that a lot of them just go away. And not even just like, say, physically, that start to get better for you. Physical health alone will start getting better. But not even that, but your spiritual health is going to start getting better when you start focusing in and start dialing in on something that really does just truly inspire you. Instead of just looking at all this hate out there, looking at all this negativity out there, looking at all these shortages going on out here, looking at all this drama going on out here, looking at who's cheating on who out here and who's doing this to who out there. Instead of looking at all that, you start to look at something and start to be a part of something and start to do something that is just completely different, that you're going to start reaping some very, very great things, some super exciting things. Hey, Oreo, you're going to start just being a part of something that is just absolutely amazing. And especially when you really want to start growing on the land, you really want to start growing outside. You really want to start utilizing the sun and relying on the sun and relying on the rain and relying on the moon to be able to start giving you what it is that you need to be able to survive. You're going to start just spiritually waking up, starting to see the world in a completely different way. When you start relying on these things to be able to make sure that you're able to go another day, I'm telling you, that's a huge way of being able to understand who and what God is all about. that when he'll give you one seed and you throw it in there, and then all of a sudden you got 100,000 seeds that come from that one seed, you're just going to be amazed. You're going to be like, holy cow, how is this even possible? How is this even a thing? How did this go like this? And it's the same way to even look at us as human beings, as there's so many of us all out here on this planet now. We started off with just a few, just a couple in reality. We started off with a couple, and now we have what we have today. It's just absolutely amazing. And that's just the way everything out here works. It's the way that, Oriole, it's the way that everything is about out here. That the more and more that you really put in time and effort into making sure that you're taking care of yourself instead of worrying about what's going on everywhere else out there. The more that you start deciding to take care of yourself, the more that you're going to realize that things are just going to keep on upgrading for you in your life. That certain problems that you've had are going to start going away. Because there's just one thing that I do know, that when you do decide to make a change from I don't want to do this anymore and I want to move into that, such as I want to stop drinking as much as I'm drinking. Nobody said quit. Just said let's slow it down. Let's just have one less. Let's just, when at the end of your night that you decide, let me have one more, just say no, not one more. Or even let's not even go that far. Just make it half as much for your last one. You say, I don't want to drink, and then you just drink half of it. Half so much you usually do, and you start with that. You got to have something to replace that with to be able to make sure that you can get away from it and stay away from it. And then it's not the fact of everyone having to stay away from everything. It's just the fact of making sure that you're using it in a very appropriate way, that it's not consuming your entire world, it's not consuming your entire life. And that's the same with farming. That's the same with taking care of these animals. And that's why for me, like having a water barrel, I don't want it to be consuming my entire world, that all day, every day, all I'm doing is filling up waters, filling up feeders, and doing this and moving animals and rotating that. No, I got to make sure that I can simplify my life. So I have to do things to be able to make sure that it's not just all consuming, that I do have time to be able to do, say, other things and not just only focus on just taking care of this over and over and over and all day and super exhausted to the point that I don't even want to do it tomorrow because it's just too much. Where for me, something simple as a water barrel like that has simplified my life of at minimum an hour a day of doing stuff that I don't have to do anymore. And then when I have to fill them up, I don't even have to watch it. I just let it go and I hear it over pouring, like, okay, it's done, move to the next one, and it's done. And it's something that is super simple, and it's something that's done every 4 or 5 months, that it used to be every single day. That you can't be over in anything. You can't be overdoing anything. You can't be in the garden 18 hours a day just putting in seeds and cropping and pruning and going all day. No, you got to make sure you got systems in place so that you're not all in it. And you could be over obsessed in anything that we do out here. And we want to make sure that we have a nice good balance of everything that we're doing. But I'm telling you, if you want to start to be able to get away from doing some things, you've got to have something to replace it. You can't just decide, I want to stop drinking, and then just decide, okay, I'm just going to sit here now. That's not going to happen. You got to have something. And I'm telling you, the one major, awesome, crazy awesome thing to be able to do and to be able to have and to be able to utilize is to be able to use some farm work, use some gardening, use something like that to be able to get you to get away from it, because you could just sit there and watch your plants grow. So when you want to decide to drink that half a glass instead of that whole glass, you have that half a glass and you just watch what you're growing manifest. You watch it grow up and get more. You watch it just start to succeed. You watch it things start to happen. And then if it doesn't, even if it does have a failure, even if you do have an issue, even if something doesn't go the way that it should go, at least you had the opportunity, the chance to be able to do it and to realize, okay, that didn't work, so now let's move on to this. And then in most cases, people, we should just do it and not even watch what a whole lot of other people are doing at first, so that we could just see what it is that we want to do, see it is, and if you're just failing, it's like, yeah, maybe for one, that wasn't for you. Or two, you maybe just need to watch that one 15-minute video to be able to get some good information on how to be able to do it correctly the next time. Because what you're doing is just way off. But once you hear that little bit of information, you're just like, oh, okay, that's easy to me, I understand that. Because it's like for me, I didn't watch much. I watched a lot on goats and take care of goats, goat farming. And there's one thing that I knew I needed with taking care of some goats was I needed a dog. So my main concentration with the goats was the dog. The dog was my main focus on life, was making sure that he was good to go, that I had the right one, that I had what I needed to make sure that those goats were good. But as far as chicken, I didn't do any research on that at all until the day that I actually got my first batch and they were in my hands, and I was like, what do I do with this? What do I make happen with this? So I just started building this thing that felt like it looked right for them. And it did work. It worked phenomenally, and it's still here. I mean, this is my first structure I built. It's still here, nice and strong, nice and sturdy. It's got PVC pipes for the curve. It's got a tarp on it. It's got everything of materials that I basically found out here. I just slapped it together. I didn't come up with anything super elaborate or come up with anything that's just awesome and structurally perfect and every single line is on point and no, I just put something together and it worked and it still works. And it's gonna work again here real soon for a whole nother batch of chicks that are about to go inside of it. And it's something that's super awesome. It's super amazing to be able to just put my energy into something that's gonna be able to help me grow, stay alive and be alive. Oreo, it's able to do that for me. It's able to make sure, oh, let's get down. It's Oreo down. You're not after you sniff, but down. Thank you. And it's something that to be able to allow me to be able to keep on cruising and keep on going for a day. And another day, and another day, and another day. Like the batch of chickens that got out of there, I needed that because that was my first line of food to be able to. I didn't have no money for no food. I didn't have nothing. I was broke on broke, and I was struggling. But one thing that I do realize is no matter how my bank account even looks, even today, how my bank account looks, I've got food to eat. I've got something to be able to consume at any moment's notice. And even if anything goes down, I got stuff running that I can make sure that I can still keep getting that from, keep making it happen from. And that's something that I want more and more people to be able to be a part of, to be able to have, because it's been able to help me get away from a lot of damaging things that's been going on in my life, damaging ways that I've had, damaging thoughts that I've had, damaging stuff that I used to study and pay attention to, instead of watching things that really do matter, such as watching how to be able to grow yourself, take care of yourself, how to grow your family and take care of your family, instead of watching information that's just a whole lot of hate and a whole lot of gossip and a whole lot of envy and a whole lot of just drama going on. That a lot of that, we can get stuck and consumed in that and feel like that's all that the world is, that we don't actually say the goodness that's going on out here, that we really just stay focused and only stay focused in what truly just doesn't matter. And not that it doesn't matter, but it doesn't matter to you. It matters to them. And if they want to post it and brag and show the whole world about it, like, I don't understand that, but it doesn't matter to you. It matters to them. But yet, I know us as humans, we like to just get all up in they space and all up in they stuff because we want to make sure that we're doing better. But in reality, one thing that you really want to just switch that from is watch someone that's gardening, watch someone that's raising some animals, watch someone that's caring for that, to compare yourself to that instead. Don't say, oh, I'm doing better than them because I got this and I'm not fighting and we're not in battles and we're not that we're doing okay. No, watch someone who's actually raising some veggies and then compare yourself on a life like that instead. So the chicken's trying to come back. It's getting time for them to shut it down. She's standing here like, what y'all doing in front of my house? But it's just 3 of them that hang in here, 2 females, two of my original Freedom Rangers. They still alive. They're almost 3 years old. Same with my rooster, man. He's over 3 now. But they still alive and they still giving me eggs every single day. And it's a very interesting chicken. It's a real chicken. Those Cornish crosses are not, that's not chicken, people. That is not chicken at all. These are. For her to still be running around and her still giving me eggs every day, and knowing that if I needed to process, I wouldn't eat that one because she's a little old by now. But if I needed some stew meat, that right there, it's good to go. But I feel like that's more and more what we need to start paying attention to and start experimenting with, start playing with. Because a lot of, like, say, the industry standards and what they do, that stuff is not out for the best of us. That stuff is to damage us and to slow us down and to give us more cancers and more diseases and more problems and more issues. It's not actually here to make us a better and live stronger lives. That we need to start experimenting with our own stuff to see what it is that we get to be able to move forward on this planet. And with that said, I just want to say thank you. Oreo, done. Get down. I just want to say thank you. Shoot. You can come on over here, girlfriend. Oreo, down. I just want to say thank you. And my rooster man's going to be a little on edge right now. Oreo, down. Just want to say thank you for the opportunity to be able to do this. Johnny, down too. Let them go back in their house. They'll probably go. But, or actually, Oreo, go home. Go home. Go home. He'll figure it out. Go home. There you go. Go home. He'll figure it out. He'll run his way back over there. But we want to let them to be able to have their chance to be able to get into their house if they want to get into their house. I don't want them to have to feel like they got to find a new spot tonight to go. Or you're home. I don't see you in your crate. All right, get in your crate. And get down. You good, Johnny. Come here. I just want to say thank you for the chance for me to be able to do this, and continue to do this, and continue to be about this, and continue to keep on growing the way I am growing with being able to take care of what it is that I take care of, and keep on getting the skills that I keep on getting to be able to do what it is that I keep on doing every day out here. That I absolutely, it was, say, tough at first because I was trying to do too much. I feel like I was trying to do a little too much at first when I first started doing this, first got out here, that now I'm it's routine to me now, that it's no longer complicated. It's no longer a lot of work. It's just everyday living. I'm so thankful to be able to get to that point, that my recommendations are don't come in right up front and just get something more than you think you're ready for. And that's one of my downfalls that I feel like I ran into with trying to do what it is that I'm doing out here. And I want to be able to be a person to say, hey, don't get 50 if it's just you by yourself, 50 chickens. Just get you 15 at first. Just take care of that and process that and figure that out. And don't get, they'll get in the house. Don't get 300 or 400 if you don't have the equipment and the resources and the knowledge on how to be able to do such a thing. Just get what you need to be able to make work what you need to work at first, until you start to get better to be able to upgrade your life, to be able to do some things. And I'm just super happy to be able to be a part of this, and to be able to do this, and to be able to continue to do this at the same time. That I feel like this is just something for me that's going to be with me for the remainder of my life, that I'm going to be taking care of a whole bunch of animals at all times, because it's something that just, it fulfills me, and it really satisfies me, I guess, is a way that I want to say it. And it really just it upgrades my life to be able to be more of a free person, and more of a free thinking person as well, because I get the choice to choose what it is that I want to consume for my own self, that I don't need to rely on someone else to be able to make sure that they're, say, giving me the right thing and the correct thing, that I get to choose what it is that I want to eat tonight. That tonight I feel like I want some ground beef because I want to make some tostadas, and I want some beans on it, I want to put some cheese in it. That it's my choice to be able to do that. That I don't have to take what they tell me that I need and tell me what it is that's going to be good for me. That I get to be a part of my own decision making and making happen what I want to make happen. And I don't know people, but that's just something that I feel like is so powerful, it's so amazing, it's so awesome, it's so great to be able to do that and be a part of that. That I want more and more people to be able to make those decisions themselves without feeling like they don't have the choice, that they have to just always keep taking what's just given to them, what's forced upon them. And then at the same time, the way that the industry is wanting to change what it is that they think is best for us today is starting to get very, very weird. That it's starting to really change up what ethically what is real and what is right. That we need certain things to be able to survive on this planet. And those certain things are something that we can grow and maintain ourselves. That it's not some hidden, weird, crazy, it's nothing. You can get in there, man. You walking past the door. They so scared of me standing right here, but they'll be all right. They'll get in there. Buddy, you passed the door. You can't get in that way. But something that I just know is this here can transform and upgrade and just change your world, change your life, change everything that you realize that you're capable of doing and realize what you're able to do. And it's something that is just it's so fun. It's so fun to be a part of. John, let's move up here so that they can get in their house. We'll move over here. It's so fun to be able to be a part of this, to be able to allow them to allow myself to be able to keep on growing and to keep on doing what it is that I need to do. You good, man? I'm not looking at you. It's crazy that the females jumped in there right away, but he decided not to jump in there right away. He'll get there. He goes. He'll get in there. But I'm so happy to be able to do this. I'm so happy to be able to be a part of this. so happy to watch this continue. You can come to be able to continue to keep making this happen, because it's just something that that I'm telling you, people. This right here is life. This is living. This is experience, and you want to live your life for great experience. And that's all I got to put at that right there. Live your life for great experience. That's all that matters on this planet.